Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to dig into our watercolors and just have fun. Sometimes the best time to create is when you just want to play, and that was today. I'm going to be using this All and Create extremely large stamps. Now, a lot of you know that I am a big, huge stamp lover. I like what they can do. I like large size cards, like 5x7, 6x6, even 7x7 and larger. I like the real estate. And this is just perfect. We can do more on them. It doesn't mean I don't like a standard A2 size card before, somebody says, you're mean. No, it's just too small for me. We're going to start by stamping our image with my VersaFine black ink onto a piece of Bristol watercolor, Canson XL watercolor paper. And I'm going to stamp this a couple times just to make sure that I do have a good impression. Remember, watercolor paper has texture, and it's got a lot of texture. So you want to make sure that you are getting the coverage that you're looking for. Now, if you don't have a perfect stamped impression, that might be something that you're looking for because you want that distressed or vintage look. I'm going to also use my clear embossing powder, and I'm going to heat set that so that we have a shiny coat on this, which will also add texture to the image that we are going to color over. Now, I did not add the embossing powder to create a barrier for when I watercolor, because this is just going to be a messy watercolor. That's what I'll call it. All right, we're not going to be strategic putting our colors down. We're not filling in each image with certain colors. We are just having a play with mixing our watercolors and seeing what we get. I am going to tape this piece, though, down onto a hardboard. It's literally what it's called, so that it will stay relatively flat as I'm adding the watercolor. There's going to be a lot of water that we are adding to this. The colors that I'm going to be using today, or I should say the watercolors that I'll be using today are my QOR watercolors, or core. I love the way that they flow and that they react. It's just different. All I'm doing is I sprayed the image that is on the board with a spray bottle. I sprayed my watercolors, and now I'm just adding colors together. I am just choosing, mixing colors as I go. We're creating a rainbow that's going to start from the center and work its way out. But at the same time, I am making sure that there are splatters, that there is messiness. And I'm not being strategic. I'm just literally flicking my brush down onto the paper just to make sure that it's there. When it comes to watercolors, I like to see how far, not how far that they'll go, because they will absolutely go extremely far, but the different techniques. I'm not looking to do grand landscapes or anything else like that, if that makes sense. For me, when making a card front and playing with your mediums, it's a mixed media type effect that I usually look for. You can see these colors. I tilted the board to get these colors rolling through each other. Yes, we're creating a rainbow, but I don't want it to It's okay if the colors mix, if that makes sense. I'm going to use my heat tool to dry this. I usually let things dry naturally because you get blooms, the colors will still continue to move. And remember, with watercolors, while it looked vibrant while it was wet, as they dry, they will dry back, meaning they will be softer. They won't be as vibrant. To make them more vibrant, you can just add another layer on top of this if I wanted to. I'm going to grab my white acrylic paint. I'm adding a little bit of water to that, and we are just going to add some splatters to this piece. Not too many, but we will add a few. I do like the effect of splatters. It's like your own embellishment. You don't need gems, you don't need pearls. Splatters make a great embellishment. It's time to put our card together. I'm going to use my double-sided film tape that I get from Uline. So even though we had this taped down to a hardboard, it's still warped. It's going to. It had water on it. So I'm going to use this tape. This tape will straighten this panel out once I put it on my mat. I have a black mat here to highlight the image, and it will actually flatten this out. Now, this tape, as I said, I get this from Uline. It is very strong. It's very it's a wonderful double-sided tape. But once it touches paper, it does just stay right down there. Absolutely. Once I trim off the sides, we'll get this onto our card base. And then we will add our sentiment. So removing the release paper. And again, this card is a 7 by 7. Those card bases that I have are actually packets that I used to be able to get from Tonic Studios. And they don't make them anymore. And I loved their card bases. Their card bases were absolutely wonderful. The sentiment I chose says creativity is intelligence having fun, and it's by Albert Einstein. And it comes actually from one of my stamp sets that I have created called Tangled Blocks. So if you're interested, I'll have that link down below along with all of the other supplies that I've used today. Again, if you're interested in checking them out and if they're still available, I'll have them listed down below. We're going to trim up the sentiment, and I'm also going to mat this onto black cardstock. I trimmed it with my scissors. I'm just going to place it down onto the black cardstock, and then I will trim around it using my long shears again as well. We'll prop this up using some double-sided foam squares, and we will place this down along the bottom of our image. I'm then going to add some iridescent black pearls, and I'm just going to place these throughout. And actually place them within, so this image, as you can see, has florals around it. So that's where I'm putting them. I'm actually adding these pearls in the center of the flowers throughout the butterfly. And it's the flowers where I see the center. That's what I want to focus on. And then I'm going to put a few coming off the top as well. Again, it's just a nice accent. And then just finding one more to put along the bottom. And that is our project for today. I do hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. The supplies I used, as long as they're listed, I will link to the shop where I find it. Links are an issue, and as long as I just put a link to the shop where it is and the name, we have a better chance. So in case the link changes, we won't have any issues. Enjoy the process. Just have fun. I had a ball playing with these watercolors and letting them mix and mingle on top of the paper instead of just in my watercolor palette. Just have fun, get that color down, see what it does, and see what comes out of it. Don't stop and don't give up. Remember, paper has two sides, and it's the perfect medium for us. But most of all, don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, make sure you ring the bell so that you know when the next video is live. And I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, always remember, always be creative in everything you do, every day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Till then, take care.